In terms of performance, the Z650 lands in third place, putting out 68 horsepower at the crank. The MT-07 comes in second with 73 horsepower, while the Hornet dominates with an impressive 91 horsepower. It's the same story with torque. The Z is last again with 64 Newton meters. The MT takes second place with 68 Newton meters, and the Hornet once again takes the crown, flexing an extra 7 Newton meters over the master of torque. When it comes to weight, the tables turn. The Hornet is the heaviest at 192 kilograms. The Z comes in second at 188 kilograms, and the MT takes the win, being the lightest at just 183 kilograms. However, when you factor in the power-to-weight ratio, the Hornet's horsepower advantage is simply too much to overcome. Despite its weight, it still comes out on top, followed by the MT, and then the Z. So, what's behind this noticeable performance gap between the three? To understand why, let's take a closer look at their power plants. All three bikes run parallel twin engines, but the Hornet and MT use modern 270-degree cranks, which have become increasingly popular, with almost every new bike in this category adopting them. These engines are said to be smoother, with less vibration, and deliver better throttle response. To top it off, they produce a deeper, throatier exhaust note that most riders find far more appealing than the higher-pitched, lawnmower-like sound of a traditional 180-degree parallel twin. The Hornet comes with 755 cc of displacement, making it the largest in this comparison, while the MT-07 has a smaller 689 cc engine. Then there's the Z650, whose engine hasn't really changed since 2017, with no major updates or displacement increase to meet stricter emission regulations. It still relies on the traditional 180-degree crankshaft and a 649 cc capacity, which is a big reason why it feels a bit outpaced compared to the others. On top of that, it has the lowest compression ratio of the three. For the valve train, all three bikes have a conventional DOHC setup with 4 valves per cylinder. As for the transmission, power gets sent to the rear wheel through a 6-speed wet clutch gearbox, and they all come with a slip-and assist clutch. As for electronics, let's start with what they all have in common. All three bikes come with ABS brakes, traction control, a TFT dash, and smartphone connectivity, though the Z misses out on turn-by-turn navigation. It's pretty bare bones when it comes to rider aids, lacking ride-by-wire throttle, riding modes, wheelie control, engine brake control, and a quick shifter. The MT takes second place, offering ride-by-wire, 2 riding modes, and an optional quick shifter. But the Hornet comes out on top, packing integrated wheelie control as part of its traction control system, along with a 3-level engine brake control. And just like the MT, it offers ride-by-wire throttle, riding modes, and optional up-down quick shifter. The Hornet and MT both feature diamond frames, while the Z is fitted with a trellis frame, with all 3 frames are made of steel. When it comes to suspension, the Hornet and MT come with upside-down forks, while the Z sticks to a more cost-effective conventional telescopic fork. None of these setups have adjustability, which is to be expected from bikes in this price range. For rear shock, the Hornet and Z offer preload adjustment only, while Yamaha stands out by offering preload and rebound adjustments. For braking power, the Z retains its 2-piston axial-mounted calipers, whereas the MT and Hornet, like most of their competitors, are equipped with stronger 4-piston radial-mounted calipers, a setup that's now pretty much the standard in this class. They all run on similar front tire sizes, but the Yamaha stands out with a wider 180mm rear tire on the MT. Meanwhile, the Hornet comes with a longer wheelbase and a bigger fuel tank. As for pricing, we can't make a direct comparison just yet since the 2025 MSRPs for the Hornet and MT aren't available. So for now, we'll use the 2024 prices as a reference. On paper, the Hornet pretty much dominates this comparison. Its larger engine delivers more mid-range punch and stronger top-end power, with only a slight weight disadvantage, which honestly doesn't make much of a difference. When it comes to features, it's a step ahead of the others. It offers more standard rider aids than the other two, comes with better forks than the Z, and matches the MT in terms of specs. The rear suspension, however, is slightly behind the MT, which offers more adjustability. Price-wise, the Hornet undercuts the MT by a few €100. Keep in mind, we're using the 2024 prices, so with all the upgrades the 2025 MT-07 received this year, it's bound to come with a noticeable price hike, which I assume will widen the price gap even further. If there's one thing I don't like about the Hornet, it's the new headlight. Honda clearly tried to address the complaints about the older model's headlight design being bland and generic, but somehow they ended up making it even worse for 2025. As for the Z, yes, it's the cheapest of the three. But honestly, the price difference is too small to justify its lack of an upside-down fork, throttle-by-wire, very basic rider aids, and those outdated axial calipers. As for the MT, there's a reason it's been the top seller in its class for years. It's known for its solid, reliable performance, and for 2025, it's getting even better, now finally equipped with radial-mounted calipers, ride-by-wire, and an upside-down fork. Maybe we should thank the Hornet for that. So, what do you think? Which one would you pick?